Welcome to Open Doors. Earl Bennett here. And I will tell you this, I'm excited to be on with Jim Arnold. Listen, you hear about all the stats, you hear about all the accolades. I mean, all-pro punter. I mean, he's a all-pro person. He set records at Vanderbilt. I mean, 12 years in the NFL. The only Vanderbilt guy to play 4 seasons and be all conference each season. Jim Arnold, how you doing today?
I'm great, Earl. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm very honored to be here with you.
Man, I'm excited to have you on because you hear stories and then you do your research and just seeing the accumulation of just yardage and I mean the things that you did here at Vanderbilt, just outstanding. Just kind of talk about how you got started in football.
Okay. For me, starting, well, when I was a kid, I've always been able to kick a ball. I mean, I grew up in a different era where you don't see kids doing this quite often, is out and playing in the yard with a ball, no matter what season it is, whether it's football or it's baseball or something's going on. Well, we always did that. So we always had a neighborhood football game, and I always got picked because you're not going to return the kick. And so then from a small age was how far could you kick it? Can I put it over this tree?
Yeah.
And then lost a lot of footballs in trees. So anyway, when I grew up, when I got to junior high and into organized ball, they really did not have in the state of Georgia at that time, they did not allow the kids to kick off or punt. So if it was a turnover, they placed the ball at a certain yard line. The same with the punt. If fourth down, if you decided I'm going to turn it over, then they move it down the field a little bit. So I really did not get to start punting in organized ball until high school. And my freshman year, I came in and they just said, who can punt the ball? Let's go over here and see where our kickers are going to be. So we went over there and did that, got started then. I mean, I played other positions growing up in Little League and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But that's when it started to kind of move in that direction. And talked about my freshman year of moving me up to the varsity. That didn't really happen. And then played varsity my sophomore, junior, senior year, obviously in high school. And in high school was just, hey, this was something I could do. It got me on the field. I played as a receiver. I wasn't a fast guy, but I had good separation on routes and stuff. So that's what made me advantageous there. But however, then going into my senior year, the spring of my junior year, our coach decided you're doing nothing but punt for us. I was so mad, man, I want to get on the field. But you look back at it, and it was a pretty prophetic move by my high school coach. Yeah. And honestly, from high school, I never thought about college ball until I guess it might have been my junior year. I had done well in my district and the state and stuff statistically, but didn't think about college until I started seeing some of these scouts come around and, talking to different players and then guys signing scholarships. And I thought, whoa, I'm doing okay. If I can continue to work hard and improve myself at my skill, then I may have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And then Vanderbilt called, and I came up to visit. When they first got in touch with me, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know who Vanderbilt was because I wasn't a normal high school kid. I didn't stay up Saturday watching college ball. I was out doing something.
Gotcha.
So Vanderbilt called. I came up and visited, and funny story there is I visited, and George McIntyre was our head coach, and we left. Had a great visit. Loved the place. The guys that showed me around were very influential in me coming to Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. And George told me when I left, he said, Jim, I've got a scholarship open for a punter, and I feel 95% sure it's going to be you. So here I leave, and I'm all pumped, man. I've got an opportunity now maybe to go to the SEC and play. Right. And then a week later, I haven't heard anything. Mm. So that goes into 2 weeks, and I thought, well, let's call up there and see what's going on. So I called, and then it was between me and a guy from Alabama. And then, okay, so then I called another week, and it was me and a guy from Kentucky. Well, this went on for about a month and a half of all these other guys, and I finally, I just said to Coach Mack, I said, I know how you can solve your dilemma. I said, why don't you bring every one of these guys into Nashville? Let's kick the ball for you.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, at the end of the day, I know who you're going to pick.
Yeah.
You're going to pick me. And 2 days later, they called me to sign, and I said, absolutely.
That's great. So
that's
looking back on your career at Vanderbilt, what is one of your most memorable games that if you have to look at and say, hey, this was a game that I knew, like I was on fire, things were rolling, and it just felt good the entire time?
I would have to say most of my senior year, but I can remember we played, this might have been my sophomore year, at Air Force, and at the Air Force Academy out in Colorado. And so we got to tour the facility and everything. And I think that's a product of what they do to get the other team tired, because you're at a higher elevation.
Yeah.
So we walked all over that campus that Friday.
It's a tactic.
And then, yeah. And I had a great day. I think I had 8 kicks on the day. I averaged, I want to say around 51 in that game.
Nice.
So real big day there. And then as we started moving on, I had another huge game my senior year against North Carolina, and I had another 8 kicks, but then it was 53-1. So I clipped the other one as far as average was concerned. But it got to me, and it did in the NFL too at a time, where from the latter part of my junior year going into my senior year, I just felt so good about what I was doing mechanically and everything else, and trusted myself that it would be a game to play against a return guy. So if I saw you way back, as an instance, you're playing me deep, I'm going to try and hang it to the moon, so you've got to come fair catch it. And then what's going to happen is probably in a few punts, you're going to start moving up.
Yeah.
And if we got room on the field, that's when you air one out and you can make a guy chase it, and hopefully he doesn't get it, and we go down and down it deep in somebody else's territory. But I think with me at Vandy and my buddies, all my teammates, was I got to a point where hang time was my forte. I could really put the ball up in the air, and we'd get in practice and just be going. I mean, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
And all the guys are going, no, it needs to be higher. You need to kick it higher. So it pushed me to try to push those limits.
Yeah.
So those were 2 remarkable games. And then I have to say my senior year, the Florida game at home, because that turned our season.
Yeah.
And we ended up going 8-3. Before that, we were not very good. But that was a big turning point. Those games, and then that game in particular for us and the program.
Yeah. Obviously, you crushed it literally on the field. Off the field, let's talk a little bit about how Vanderbilt football prepared you for life after football. Because playing 12 years in the NFL is a very long time. Yes. How did Vanderbilt prepare you once you retired from the NFL?
I think there were a few things that helped me, not only in the classroom, but on the football field too. When I first came to Vanderbilt, we had another guy that was there as a punter. And so here I am my freshman year, and I want that job. And I think at that time I was kind of pressing a little bit, and it was showing with my punting. And Coach Mack finally came over to me at one point, and he said, Jimmy, just relax. The job is yours. And from then on, it was just, I don't know, that point of really wanting that, and then knowing that you're there, gave you a little bit of, what anxiety that I had, but it was just that trying too hard and not trusting yourself.
Yeah.
And once that trust came into me doing my work and getting ready, then that was good. But that was still an obstacle that I had to overcome. And the other is separating yourself, which is for me, it was very hard to do, separating yourself from a program at the time that was struggling, but knowing that you're helping to make it better, and to do that, you've got to be the very best you can be in order to help your team. Because for the way I looked at my job on the field was exchange of field position. So how can I help my team either get out of the hole or put a ball in position that fires my defense up to get out there and get after somebody, even if they've been on the field for a while. So you look and you try to make that happen in a consistent manner that really helps your team. And then if it's one of those where you're not, you're working the whole field, then it becomes, how can I outperform the guy across on the sideline so that our exchange of field position ends up winning us the day at the end. That's how I would be able to win ball games or help win ball games for Vanderbilt. So I think there's several things there. There were, class is tough at Vandy. It's not impossible, but it is tough. And so that taught me, I think, discipline of I've got to spend time in my studies and make sure that I'm doing well in school. One, so that I'm eligible. Two, so that I can graduate on time. That was my big thing. I wanted to graduate in 4 years.
Absolutely. So we hit on football, we hit on academic side of it, post-career. What is a hidden gem that you used to love on campus? Like, what's that one spot? For me,
oh wow,
like, I love the pub, Vanderbilt pub. I used to go there all the time, just kind of hang out, grab some food. What's one spot that you used to love?
Well, for us, it was Jonesy's in my generation, and it might have been gone by the time you were there, Earl. It used to be, literally, it was a little cinder block building, and it sat directly behind Wendy's. Of course, when I was there, you didn't have, the hotel that was behind in the open end of the horseshoe. You didn't have any of those shops. None of that was there. That was actually part of campus. I believe there was an old barber school down there. You could get a cheap haircut. So, but Jonesy's, there were three places really with us: Jonesy's, Amy's, and I believe Waxy's were the three that we ended up haunting, if you will.
So. That's great. I love those names. Like when I think back and about some of the places that we used to go to, and then you're like, the place that I used to go to is not there. And I don't even know if the place that I used to go to is there now, just because, they're adding so much to campus. They're doing so many special things, and it's really just exploding. It's exciting times here. I see you got your Vanderbilt hung up in the back. I'm not gonna hold the Detroit line against you, right? Because we are Commodores. So we'll be on the same page with that. But Jim, man, this has been a treat just to be able to catch up with you and just have a conversation. Are you on social media? Can people follow you on social media?
I am. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Lions Punter 6. And then I'm on Facebook as well. I'm not a prolific poster. But I will have things to say about some stuff, especially some of the things that have gone on in the recent past at Vanderbilt. I really, and you can echo this or disagree with me. I really like Clark Lee being there. I hope that maybe you can help facilitate a meeting with me and him to say hello. I knew that when we started the search for the football coach, and Clark's name came up, knowing that he had played there and knowing his progression through coaching, I really wanted him at Vanderbilt on a couple levels. One, he's there, so, and you played there as well, so the culture that was there.
Absolutely.
And then here's Clark at Notre Dame, which is, whether people want to admit it or not, it's still a big time program. And you're always considered that every year. So you learn things within practice, within coaching, within game day, that all are geared toward excellence. And my thing in the past has always said, I think the guy that drove the bus best in the recent past for Vanderbilt was James Franklin.
Mhm.
And he was gone, and it showed. It showed with the recruiting. It showed with the on-field wins and losses. We've had some good people there. They just weren't there long enough. And I just have said I think the bus needs to be driven a little harder, if you will,
Yeah.
to get that excellence. And I think we're on the precipice of something really cool. And I'm excited for this season.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely changing the culture around here. A lot of people are excited. The staff has been doing a phenomenal job. And, you know, we're just building each day 1%, getting better. So, Jim, I really appreciate you being on today, man. Thank you. And always anchor down.
You are so welcome. Let me get my hand on the camera there. Sorry, I'm back and forward
There
here.
we go.
But no, in all seriousness, Earl, I got a heck of a lot of respect for you and what you do,
Thank
your
you.
career that you had.
Yes, sir.
So believe me, I was one that was watching you, both at the
Thank you.
college level and at the pro level.
Thank
I'm
you.
very honored and humbled that you've had me on your show, and I appreciate that so very much. Hope to see you soon down at Magoogan.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. Look forward to it.
All righty.
All right.